Hi guys, today I'm going to be talking about all the boxing that happened over the weekend. It was a big fight over in America with Sonny Edwards against Jesse Bam Rodriguez. So I'm going to be reviewing that card and give my thoughts on who the winners and losers should fight next. So first off, we've got Sonny Edwards lost with a corner stoppage between the 9th and the 10th round against Jesse Rodriguez. I said in the preview for the fight that I thought Sonny Edwards would be able to beat him over the distance, try and outpoint him. It would be a close fight, I thought, but Jesse Rodriguez completely proved me wrong. He was amazing. His punch selection was amazing. His constant forward pressure was amazing. He got much better at cutting off the ring in between his fights that he's had recently. I don't know if that was because he's aware of how good Sonny Edwards is, so he trained harder and applied himself more, or because the other guys that he fought weren't big names. Yeah, amazing performance by Jesse Rodriguez, and he looked back to his best. He definitely has more power. His power was amazing, and I think he could be a future pound for pound star. It's difficult in those younger, or in the lighter weight classes, sorry, because not many people watch those weight classes. So if they do go on pay-per-view, then it won't be the most amount of buys, and it might not be worth putting it on pay-per-view. But Jesse Rodriguez is going to be a pound for pound star, and he's now my pound for pound top 10. I'll do another video about my pound for pound top 10 some point next year. Yeah, amazing performance by Jesse Rodriguez. I loved obviously he's a southpaw, I loved his variation of his jab. So he'd do a powerful jab, he'd do a quick jab, he'd do a feint then a jab, he'd do a jab to the body, jab to the head, he'd do a jab to the head, jab to the body, he'd do a double jab. It just kept Sonny Edwards thinking all the time, and I thought that was amazing from Bam Rodriguez. His footwork, constantly moving. He was just his head movement, just his reflexes, his counter punches. It was because of how highly I rate Sonny Edwards. I would say that's probably his best performance to date. Yeah, the future's great for Jesse Rodriguez. But on to Sonny Edwards. His bravery in that fight was something different. Like, Jesse Rodriguez was putting it on him. He had a majorly swollen eye. He had cuts over his other eye. He had cuts underneath one of his eyes, and just he kept going forward, or he kept throwing punches. He kept doing everything he could to win that fight, and it's motivational when you watch something like that. It's just like Sonny Edwards, his mindset is different. Like, just Jesse Rodriguez would stop throwing punches, more powerful punches than Sonny Edwards, and then Sonny Edwards would just unleash punches on him, try and pin him up against the ropes, and it's just, he's not known for that, but because he was losing, he had to do that to try and make a difference, and that was just, it was inspirational, like I said. Something else to point out, which was obviously a highlight, was the Jesse Rodriguez knockdown of Sonny Edwards in the last 10 seconds of the 9th round, where the corner then stopped the fight between the 9th and the 10th round. What a shot. Like, Sonny Edwards was just throwing a punch, Jesse Rodriguez slipped the punch and landed a big left hand. I think it was a big straight left hand, and it was just perfectly timed. Sonny Edwards' hand slightly came further down and just left the gap just for that, and it was a beautiful shot. So what I think then should happen next for the two of them, Jesse Rodriguez, obviously on to bigger and better things. I'd say if he stated that he wants to move back up to £115, which has the bigger names, I'd say, in the division. If he's going to stay at £112, I'd say fight Martinez for the WBC title. I think Martinez won. I haven't actually seen the results overall for the other cards. So that fight was postponed until 2024, so it didn't happen. So I would say Julio Cesar Martinez should fight, I think Bam Rodriguez, if he's going to stay at 112 pounds, he should fight Martinez. I think that'd be a big fight. I think that would get a lot of eyeballs on it. I don't think it'd be as big a fight as the Sonny Edwards fight, because I don't think Martinez would be able to sell it with the trash talking. But I think it'd be a very good fight. Both pressure fighters. I think Bam would win that, but we'll have to see if it gets made. If not, which has also been spoken about, if he does move up to £115, I'd like to see him fight Estrada. Estrada's the best in the weight class at £115. He's had a trilogy with Chocolatito. He's a big name, and sorry. Yeah, I'd like to see that fight against Estrada. I'd probably like to see the Estrada fight more, just because that's major for Bam's legacy. Yeah, it's just big things next for Bam, hopefully. And then on to Sonny Edwards. Next for Sonny Edwards, well, if Jesse Rodriguez moves up in weight class, there's going to be 2 belts that are free. I assume I assume Edwards will be still quite highly ranked with the IBF, as he did hold the belt for, I think it's 5 defences, or this was going to be his 5th defence. So yeah, I think potentially try and fight for the IBF belt. I'd like to see him fight Galal Yafai, who had a good win on the undercard. I'm going to speak about Galal Yafai for a bit in a minute. I would like to see Rodriguez against I'd like to see Sonny Edwards against Galal Yafai. I think that'd be a good fight, good domestic fight, and yeah, looking forward to it. Then in the co-main event is Akhmadaliev against Gonzalez. Akhmadaliev won with an 8th round TKO. Akhmadaliev looks very good. I loved his footwork where he just stepped back and unleashed big punches on his opponent. He dropped Gonzalez multiple times. Gonzalez was up for the fight. He was game. Every time he got dropped, he was smacking his gloves together to show how ready he was for the fight, and I like that. But Akhmadaliev he had too big an amateur pedigree, and he was just too good in general, I think. For Akhmadaliev, I'd like to see him fight the winner of Inoue and Tapales, which he's asked for the winner of that in his post-fight. I'd like to see that, or a fight against Luis Neri. Luis Neri's on DAZN now with Golden Boy. Yeah, I think those 2 fights would be good options for him. Then Galal Yafai, which I said I was going to speak about. Galal Yafai, he looked good in the early rounds. He's a pressure fighter, so he got hit every now and then. But then in the later rounds, he started to trade a bit too much and got hit a bit more clean. He's still got areas to improve on, I think. I think his defense needs improving. And I think he just, a lot of the time he gets clipped when he's coming in. It's not getting hit hard, but my worry is when he fights the likes of Jesse Rodriguez, when he tries to walk forward, Rodriguez will hit him harder. So that's going to be an area that Galal Yafai needs to improve on. But I'd like to see him fight Sonny Edwards in his next fight, like I just said. I think that would be a good fight for potentially one of the titles, although I think Galal Yafai is quite highly ranked. It says here it's a WBC international flyweight title, so that means he's quite highly ranked with the WBC. So the WBC champion is Julio Cesar Martinez. I'd like to see Galal Yafai potentially against Martinez. That'd be a good fight. And yeah, I'd probably say actually Galal Yafai against Martinez would be the fight that makes the most sense, and then potentially Sonny Edwards gets an IBF, then it's another unification fight. I think this was the first unification fight in the flyweight division in 12 years, I think I heard. That's ridiculous. Like, I think it might be a big part of that's because there's not been much money pumped into this division, and credit to Eddie Hearn because he's promoting this weight division, such a low weight division. But it's good to see because there's a lot of talent in this weight division and around this weight division, which just doesn't get promoted by other promoters. But Eddie Hearn's making a big effort into promoting this talent, and it's good for the sport because that a lot of them are probably closer to the pound for pound list than the guys in the heavier divisions. There's a lot of pound for pound talent here, like Chocolatito, Estrada, there's Rodriguez, there's Sonny Edwards. Like, that's 4 just off the top of my head there who are like just outside the pound for pound top 10 or in the pound for pound top 10. Then I briefly mentioned him in the preview, Peter McGrail, very good prospect, but he unfortunately lost to Jericho O'Quinn. O'Quinn knocked him out in the 5th round. Peter McGrail knocked him down twice with big left hands. He's southpaw, very good technical southpaw, constant foot movement, 2 big left hands he knocked him down with earlier in the fight, but he got caught coming in. His left hand was slightly lower and he got hit with a big right hook as he was coming in, which unfortunately dropped him and he couldn't get up from it. It's sad to see because I still think McGrail is a top prospect and I'd like to see him bounce back. I want to see a rematch for him now against Jericho O'Quinn because I think that just makes sense. There's not much else I can say about that. He was I wouldn't say he was dominating the fight. It wasn't completely one-sided because O'Quinn was he threw a lot of punches in return. I'd just say Peter McGrail was getting off the cleaner work with the 2 knockdowns, obviously, like I said. I think he probably won every round up to that 5th round where he got knocked out, unfortunately. So yeah, I want to see McGrail get that fight back, hopefully early in the next year, so hopefully first half of next year. I'd like to see that. And then we're going to quickly talk about the David Morrell Agbeko card. I haven't seen any of the fights. I've seen the Chris Colbert versus Valenzuela knockout. Valenzuela knocked out Chris Colbert in the 6th round. I said in the preview that I thought Valenzuela would either beat him on points or knock him out. I thought Valenzuela was the better fighter because he beat him up in the first fight, but somehow lost a decision. Valenzuela got what he deserved this fight with a knockout of Chris Colbert. Obviously I haven't seen the fights like I just said, but that's all I've got to comment on that one. I'd like to see Valenzuela fight potentially a Frank Martin. I don't know who Frank Martin's going to fight next. I'd like to see Frank Martin, especially if Isaac Cruz is going to fight Gervonta Davis, which is the rumour at the moment. I'd like to see Valenzuela fight Frank Martin and then see who gets pushed on by PBC in the lightweight division. And then, as I said, the Martinez fight unfortunately got postponed till 2024 due to visa issues. And then David Morrell won in the 2nd round with a TKO over Agbeko. This was for the WBA regular title, which I don't class as a world title. So next for David Morrell, I'd say I want to see him fight. So it all depends on who that Canelo opponent is, I think. I think if Canelo fights Benavidez, then David Morrell should fight Christopher Mbili, who's undefeated. I think he's French, super middleweight. Or if, basically, I want to see it's between those 4, because I want to see Caleb Plant against Charlo. So take those 2 away from this 4. Then Mbili, Canelo, Benavidez, and Morrell. Whichever one of those fights Canelo, because it should be one of those in my opinion, and it shouldn't be Charlo. But if Charlo fights Canelo, then you can throw one of them then you can throw Plant into the list against one of them. I want to see Morrell against Mbili, because I hope because I want to see Canelo against Benavidez, but I don't see Canelo against Benavidez happening. So if that doesn't happen, so if Canelo against Benavidez happens, I want to see David Morrell against Christian Mbili. But then if that doesn't happen, I want to see David Morrell against David Benavidez. I think that'd be a really good fight. I think it'd be a really good fight for the fans, really good fight for who gets the push by PBC, really. The loser of that might probably move up to £175. I think it'd be a really good fight, a really good technical fight, and the winner of that fight should definitely fight Canelo. Like, Canelo can't hide from any of them. I'm not saying that Canelo's ducking either of them, but Canelo would need to fight the winner of that fight. If it was between David Morrell and David Benavidez, the fans would want the winner of that to fight Canelo. I think that's pretty much it for the boxing today, guys, or from over the weekend. Thanks for listening, guys. Please give a like and subscribe. Give your thoughts on the video, what you like, what you don't like. Future ideas for videos that I could do over the Christmas period. Thank you, guys.